try this again. I'm gonna try this again. So pop in there, shout out in the chat right down there if the chat is working. I tried this just a minute ago, didn't work. I don't know. I went and updated the YouTube app. We'll see if that makes any difference in terms of that chat working. But I thought we'd do a quick live stream today talking about crime and punishment, and in particular something that's been in the news this week, and that is straws. Okay, and now I see you guys, Tony, Tommy, I see people popping in there, and Troy, Rigo, Blue Osteen, everybody, good to see you in there. Okay, so straws. Let's talk about straws and the crime of using, possessing, and distributing straws, because these are very serious crimes that I think obviously we need to discuss, because there's places where increasingly these are being made illegal, these straws. Now in Santa Barbara, I believe it is, in California, they're one of the world leaders in criminalizing straws. This isn't a joke. I'm not doing like a spoof here. This is actual news. Okay, this is actually stuff that's going on right now. In fact, this new law in Santa Barbara, I think the first offense for distributing plastic straws, because they're saying they're bad for the environment, is like up to $1,000 fine, and the second offense you can face up to 6 months in jail for the distribution of straws. Like if you have a restaurant or if you're a waiter and somebody wants a straw and you give them like a plastic straw, like to drink their pop or their milkshake or something with, and then you can serve up to 6 months in jail for that. Okay, so this is not, I know, like I told people, I was over on Reddit, on the libertarian Reddit over there, and I posted this, and there's literally people on there saying, well, they should be banned, they're harmful to the environment, and I'm like, what the heck? But I'm like, guys, people in Mexico aren't even gonna believe me when I tell them this. And somebody's like, well, straws are being banned in Mexico too, and I'm like, dude, if there's any ban on straws here in Mexico, it's gonna be something that the Mexicanos laugh at. Okay, because they don't go for this kind of stuff, right? In the large sense. In fact, I was over on the Mexico Reddit. I was getting lambasted on the Mexico Reddit yesterday. I posted on the community section of this, and they were just attacking me over there. Maybe I made the mistake of posting on the Mexico Reddit in English, because it really kind of resonated how much effort the US government is putting into putting people all over the world and all over the internet that will promote their propaganda. And so you got all these people, and I'm like on this Mexico Reddit, and I'm getting attacked because I shared my video about escaping the USA, and they're like saying, oh, you're a criminal, and you're a loser, and they're all going off on me. And I'm like, these are not Mexicans. These people don't talk like Mexicans. These might be like people of Mexican heritage that live in the fascist state of Texas, but these people talk nothing like Mexicanos. And so what I've realized is that there's this constant influx, right? You have all these people brainwashed, and then some of them I think are actually professionals, whether it's straws on the internet or talking about Mexico, okay? So you have this law, and what they're doing is they're passing these laws. They're saying, oh, look, straws and plastic, and it's bad for the environment, and it's ruining, and it's hurting animals, and so we have to outlaw straws. Stop! Banning things does not solve problems. The only thing that legitimately brings more safety and freedom is when crimes against other people are punished. Crimes with real victims, you guys. Life, liberty, and property stuff. That's law. And so you got places like California, like Santa Barbara, but it's not just them. It's happening all over. Okay, I'm sure it'll be happening in Texas soon, and the patriots of Texas will be all over it, right? Not our auditors in Texas. So the government makes up this stuff, and they make a narrative that goes along with that. And they say the poor animals, look at the kitty or the turtle that was hurt by the straw. And they share these emotional narratives, and it's absolute nonsense, because you don't make communities safer or better by bans. Bans serve three purposes. The first one is profit for the government. That's really kind of the underlying overall purpose, right? Profit, fines, things like that. The next is fear, right? Fear of fines, fear of jail. And the next is imprisonment, slavery, which is also profit, but it's kind of a different variant, the for-profit prison system. Slavery never went away in the USA. The prison system is modern-day slavery, okay? So I just want you to understand, when I say straws, I'm not talking about like, oh, this is a way maybe that cocaine is transported or there's some illicit thing in the straws. I'm just talking about, you know, the things you drink out of, water and milkshakes and stuff, okay? So this is on the news. If you search for straw bans, this has been talked about in the news. This one in, I believe it's Santa Barbara in California, goes into effect early next year. It goes into full effect, and you can be fined up to $1,000 and or jailed up to 6 months for distribution of straws. I don't know if possession of straws is going to be illegal. I'm sure that's coming later. Because as things, you know, people say, well, this is getting ridiculous. We need to like deregulate marijuana, let's say. And so now less people are going to prison for that. So they have to make a new thing, right? Yeah, I mean, straws, Tina, next thing we know, straws will be a felony. And people laugh. They're like, that's ridiculous. No, it won't. Guys, the government, you got to remember, a felony always used to be a capital crime. The idea that someone's a felon because like they streaked across the football field or they urinated on a tree in the park or they punched a guy in the nose at a bar fight, right? The idea that you would be a felon for that never used to exist. The government has created all of these crimes to fill their prisons. And as people run around, look, I can respect people that care for the environment, okay? Down here in Mako, there's no EPA. The rules are much more laid back, and people are like, screw the government. We're going to do what we want, right? Along with that, even as someone who's free thinking, right, I see things that are taken advantage of. I see areas where there's too much litter. I see water systems that are being polluted. Usually that's by corporate goons, not by people just being irresponsible, right? But I see things, and people say, well, plastic is causing a major pollution problem in oceans and waters. Okay, well, that could be discussed. But guys, let's think rationally for a moment here. First, law is life, liberty, and property. You can't make a law that restricts someone unless they're violating someone else, okay? It's not a law. You're just a fascist if you do that. Secondly, you don't fix people's behavior. You don't fix the petty and compounding errors of human behavior by filling up prisons and stealing people's money, okay? Places like the EPA were created and are subsisting for one reason, and that is power and profit and control. The EPA is one of the #1 offenders in polluting rivers in the USA. No punishment for them, guys. See, it's all about control. So government agencies, and people have to start seeing this, even if you care about the environment, which we should be caretakers of the world around us. You know, we should be preserving. We don't want everything to be trash. I hate it when I go down the road and there's garbage everywhere. I'm like, guys, come on. But we do this by pushing as individuals, by working. Instead of saying, hey, we need to go take that guy's stuff because he threw litter. How about you go up to the guy and say, dude, don't litter up our town. And then you go pick it up and you throw it away. Now you've combined your effort. You actually had to sacrifice something with a little bit of shame and setting an example for your neighbor. Does that work on everybody? No. But you have no right to go around fleecing, robbing, and abusing people. A crime has to have a victim. Okay, so we're talking about basic common sense, guys. And so as our prisons are filled with people like Bao and Jeff Winehouse and Schaefer Cox and Leonard Peltier and natives and blacks and whites and Mexicans and people charged with fake immigration crimes, as our prisons are literally filled with people for possession crimes. Soon it'll be straws. This is insanity. Meanwhile, there's a trial going on in Oregon of the people in the FBI assassin team who murdered Lavoy Finicum, not because they murdered him, but because of one of them lied in his report, and so he's on trial. But the courts won't even allow the names of the people who were involved. Even the person on trial, they just refer to him by initials. They won't let the public know who this assassin is by name. I'll do another video on this with an update later. But I just want to use that for a moment for contrast. Because you have a government that's literally killing, bombing the world, killing your neighbor on the street, and committing any and all crimes against humanity from the unborn to the aged. And then people have The ignorance to say, no, the law that makes straws a crime is to protect us because the government cares about the environment, and this is progress. Guys, I gotta tell you this. I know a lot of you guys know this. Giving the government power will not help the environment. It won't help your freedom. It won't make you safe. Do you know the reason down here in Mexico there's walls around people's houses? Because they value privacy and individual responsibility and security. Is it because it's a war zone where you'll surely die if you don't have a wall around your house? Of course not. In QRO state, where I am in Mexico, there's less murder and crime, or rape, like violent crime. There's less than in Washington state, where I came from. They're doing it because they're not thinking the government has to save us from everything. They're saying the police aren't going to stop us from getting robbed, so we're going to prevent it. They're using common sense. Meanwhile, if you actually tried to build a wall around your property to secure it in the USA, the government would probably fine you and then take you to jail if you persisted because it's a code violation. You can't make plastic straws illegal. That isn't a law. That's fascism. It doesn't protect the environment. It destroys freedom. And it's time to stop letting people get away with saying, I care for the environment, therefore I want to empower government to abuse people. That's not caring for the environment. The government does not protect the environment. You getting off your ass and going out with a garbage bag and picking up the trash, that's how you clean up the environment. And in doing so, you set an example. You tell people, stop leaving your beer cans and your bottles on the beach. You speak up. And so yes, straws are being made illegal in the USA and in other places in the world because of a fascist propaganda campaign that pretends to be about the environment and really is all about control. So hoard those straws, you guys, because they're going to be contraband. They might be valuable on eBay in the near future. And you know what? Just a little update, just a few thoughts about the straws, about protecting the environment for real instead of letting a thug pretend to do it for you so you can feel good about yourself. Let's actually start being responsible. Let's actually start loving freedom. Let's actually start appreciating and respecting the land and nature. Let's start using some common sense. All right, you guys have a good weekend. We will talk to you soon. Glad we got this chat room working. Thank you to all our Patreon subscribers over at patreon.com/Gavin Seim. Really appreciate you guys. Stay safe. Stay out of the hands of Blue ISIS. I do have some other videos and updates to do when I have the energy, and I will try and stay in touch with you guys. Thanks for your support. Peace out. Love your neighbor.